Okay, so leaving the shores of Nigeria, let's take a trip now to Zimbabwe, where there is indeed a rancor, if you put it that way. Well, with just a week left for schools to open for the second term, Zimbabwean teachers are still in a tug of war with the government on salaries, demanding that their pleas for an increment should be treated as a matter of priority. Just yesterday, the Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, ARTUZ, wrote letters to its employer and the finance minister on the issues regarding their remuneration, conditions of service, and the general state of education in Zimbabwe.
Now, they also made a follow-up on the payment of school fees for teachers' children. Joining us to talk more on this issue is the president, Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, Obert Masaraure. Thank you so much, Obert, for joining us on the breakfast show. Obert, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks for inviting me. Good morning.
Good morning. So, Obert, you and other teacher unions in Zimbabwe have been at this with the government for years now. Why do you think the government has not sorted your issues out as teachers?
Yeah, it is very unfortunate that we have a government which doesn't regard public services as very important. We have a government which is engaged in neoliberalism as its own policy framework of providing services. So under neoliberalism, they don't care about public services. We have a government which have complete disregard of our people, a government which is led by people who are focused on primitive accumulation. They don't want to deliver any service. So for them, paying teachers is not very important. What they care most is just power retention. They would rather pay the soldiers. The soldiers who will help them into power through a coup are more important to them than even health workers and education workers. So we have a crisis where we have a government which only serves its own interests, and there's no interest to serve the generality of our masses. But we are committed to push them until they realize that education is important, the healthcare is important, and we are going to do it as we have done in the past through mass actions, and we are continuously organizing until the day the balance of power is shifted and they realize it is going to be untenable to continue to deny the people of Zimbabwe basic services like education.
All right. With just a week left before schools open, Obert, what is the possibility of the government giving you a positive response to your demands? Don't you think it's rather too short to make these demands? Don't you think these demands should have been made earlier on while schools were on break?
We have tabled these demands to government even before schools closed for last term. We tabled the demands in the first week of the holiday. We even made a couple of follow-ups asking the Minister of Finance to engage the workers to come up with a solution with regards to the salary crisis, with regards to a living wage for workers. But the government has been ignoring our calls. It's not too late for them to really come to the negotiating table, because these issues have been on their table for a very long time. Look at the issue of payment of school fees for teachers' children. We reminded them 3 weeks ago. We made a follow-up, but up to now, they're still to play ball. This is not an issue of us taking long to engage government. We engage them on a weekly basis. We engage them and continue to remind them. And we still advise them that there's time to come to the table and talk. If they don't come to the table and talk, it is very unfortunate that our schools will not be able to open. Second term will again be a wasted year. And we feel for our learners who continue to lose on the right to education because of the insensitive government of the day.
So in other words, Obert, your members will boycott lessons if the government does not respond. That's what you're saying now.
No, they are not boycotting, but they are not able to go to work. Look, these teachers are earning around USD $100 at a time where the poverty data line is over USD $600. So it's not about a boycott. It is about the ability to be reporting for duty, because teachers will need bus fares to go back to work. They will need food. They need accommodation, among other basics. They also need to pay fees for their own children. So if the government does not review the salaries of the teachers, it will be impossible for these teachers to be in the classroom. So it's not a boycott, but it's an issue of incapacitation, where the government has rendered its own employees incapacitated and they made it difficult for them to be able to report for duty.
Incapacitated again. That's not a word that's indeed coming up a lot in Africa, especially looking at the educational sector and, of course, the health sector, where doctors initially said they are incapacitated and now you have the health workers, beg your pardon, the education staff, especially coming from Zimbabwe. Well, Obert, do us a favor, please, but keep us up to speed with the latest, especially feedback from the government when we have you back on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks. It was great having me.
All right. Okay, so that was one of our guests who just spoke deeply on the crisis, Obert Masaraure. He is the president, Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe. You know what? It's a problem, and hopefully it gets rectified soon enough. I always have a problem, Rita, why there is a delay.
You know, while he was talking, I said, why do we continue to have this problem? We know that education is very important for the growth of any country. We see that happening in Nigeria and now Zimbabwe. And Obert made a very particular point. He said, we're not boycotting, but we do not have the money. We want to work. So give us finance, give us funds so that we can work, so that we can teach, because we do not like to stay at home. So I don't know what's happening between the government and education ministries. I think they should come to a round table and see how they can settle this amicably, because at the end, it's the children, it's the students that actually suffer. You know, in Nigeria, a musician came out and said, since they gave me admission, I have not I have not resumed school. What's going on? It's not funny, because in Nigeria we have, especially for the university, tertiary institutions, we see you're supposed to go for 4 years and you end up going 5 years, 6 years.
7.
So you tell yourself, I'll finish school at the age of 22, but somehow at 27, 28, you're still in a 300 level.
That's more reason why you have mass exodus of students, parents sending their children out to school, because you like to plan your child's life. You like to ensure that if your child is 16, it gets to university, 4 years later, 20 years, he's done, he's becoming a man, a woman starts to plan for his future. But you know, this will be a topic for another day here on Breakfast Central.